XQC is not only one of the biggest streamers, but he is among the wealthiest, seemingly betting people's life savings on soccer games or slot machines to buying watches that cost more than most people's house. Due to his popularity and wealth, he attracts a lot of leeches. Some people want to use him for money, while others want to pull a XQC ripcord to try to stay relevant.
Stayed at my house with his ex-girlfriend who they fucking had like a fake divorce over.
If you would have told XQC in 2022 when he was feeling like his life may be cut short,
I just felt like I was gonna die soon. That's kind of how it was. I felt like I wasn't gonna live very long.
completing his will would trigger his roommate turned girlfriend to turn against him in the worst way possible. He probably would not have believed you. Well, that all came true on November 14th, 2022, when Adept, whose real name is Samantha Lopez, would file for divorce. Out the gate, she put a gag order on him. Took 2 of his cars, put the McLaren on ice. She popped up at his place when he changed the Tesla password, then tried to claim to the judge that he broke the gag order by broadcasting their divorce to his massive audience.
You're violating a court order. I have full authority to the car. I have full authority to the car based off the court order that we agreed upon. You signed your name on it.
Get out now?
No, I need you to change it.
So, shh. You're violating a... Oh my God, shut up! My God! I am not married. I was never married.
This event almost confirmed he was going through a real divorce. She asked the judge for a $500,000 bond and then tried several times to get him held in contempt, but they all failed. When she couldn't get the court to give her his money, she would then set her sights on trying to get him arrested for a false SA. The closest she got to getting him arrested was when she made the false SA allegation, securing a protective order, which led to him getting kicked out of his own home.
I'm getting out. Thank you for helping out.
In the end, all this did not matter. Fast forward to December 2023 and he had won on Adept having no evidence of an informal marriage. She didn't take this loss well and she went on to break the court order and sold his McLaren. The sale of the McLaren was likely used to pay XQC and her legal fees. Shortly after, XQC would get the entire case dismissed for lack of subject matter expertise. Adept is motivated not to hold the L. She filed a motion to appeal, which we will cover. But today we will be looking at new unsealed court documents which detail how XQC defeated her in court using her deposition against her. Despite my brief interview with the #1 juicer making it harder to get court documents, I was able to legally obtain all court documents presented in this video. How XQC win started in April 17th, 2023. His GigaChat lawyer notified the court that he intended to depose Adept on May 2nd, 2023. The deposition would be recorded and count as her sworn testimony. After her deposition, he filed his motion to dismiss the informal marriage for lack of evidence. He proposed to the court that of the 3 elements needed to prove common law marriage in Texas, she had no evidence to prove that they ever intended to get married. He also stated that she had no definitive proof that they both held out as husband and wife. July 19th, Adept would fire back a response that is still sealed, and on July 21st, a motion to add new evidence. At the time, we had no idea what or who that evidence was. After Adept lost on the claims of being married, she would post this clip in her unhinged ranch of what looks to be like another maid she wants to testify.
You ready?
First time I think he did.
Okay.
Or I said, I refer, oh, okay, is your wife here?
Exactly.
Oh, she's in the room or she's upstairs.
No, see, and remember or recall or confident to say, you know, that would just really
I
help.
remember when you were in the house that before you all bought that house.
Yeah.
That I went to do the move out and I think I had one helper and he came out of the room and I asked him something and he said, I do remember that he came out of the room and I asked him something, but he never knew anything. And he said, ask my wife or so.
Yeah.
When I went to Canada, I explained to you like, oh, we have to marry. We have to be married and I'm going to Canada and I could only, because it was COVID time.
Yes, I do remember it. And I do remember that you explained to me that I think it was his visa or something that was going to be expired or that was expired.
And that's why he
was living there.
Yeah, and that's why he
was living there instead of in Texas. And
so the only
way we could go be together is if we agreed in Texas we were married. And then I flew out to Canada. And then
no, I do remember.
I do remember that you explained it to me because you were going to leave and you said you didn't know how long you all were going to be gone because you had to go through the process. And yes, I do remember. I mean, I don't remember the dates, but I do remember that you explained it to me. You're going to pack them. I mean, and it wasn't only like one time.
Yeah.
Many times because I really didn't talk to him, and I talked more like with you.
Yeah.
I communicated more with you. But when I said a couple of things, I could say as your wife.
But like I said, there were some reasons why this didn't come up in court yet. With the motion for summary judgment going through and ending the divorce, then that still has not occurred.
Listening to the recording, Adept tries to explain that in order for her to enter Canada, she had to be married to XQC.
Reuniting as through common law, that's the thing. That's what the Canadian government allows. We've been living together for 2 years, so at this point we're considered.
Later, XQC lawyer will point out that's not entirely true. Not to mention, this is someone who was paid to work for Adept in a capacity which one could argue the May has a vested interest in to continue to work for Adept now or in the future. Lastly, let's say on the odd chance he referred to Adept as his wife this one time, calling her wife one time in 3 years of their RP marriage is not enough to be considered legally married. XQC lawyer objected to the use of new evidence. Let's be honest. Is one person coming out going to seal the deal for what could be a $100 million divorce?
I think not.
The Honorable Juicer Judge Brandy Hawford was not buying any of that. She granted Giga Chad's objection on Adept adding new evidence.
Hello, XQC. This is Adept's lawyer.
Adept's lawyer activated his trap card when her response was shot down. He was going to write a reply to save XQC up to $50 million.
Time to end this.
And he submitted it on July 26, 2023. Coincidentally, this was the same day they are supposed to have the hearing for the no evidence motion for summary judgment. He starts out his reply by going over some historical trials in which gold diggers like Adept lost in court trying to rob their RP husbands of their hard-earned riches. In the case of Dana v. Dana, the RP wife lost because she had no evidence of the couple having a reputation of being married, similar to how no one believes or knows XQC to be married in the Twitch community. In the case of Smith versus Devine, despite having wedding rings and suddenly introducing themselves as husband and wife, the two did not consistently hold out as husband and wife, in which we know XQC and Adept never did that. These cases would be the backbone of XQC's defense as well as Adept's deposition. He explained that a motion of no evidence puts the burden of proof on Adept to prove all three elements before heading to trial, citing that the evidence must be of significance to survive the motion. Lastly, any evidence that raises suspicion of marriage would be considered weak and legally as no evidence at all. Out the gate, he calls her a liar using the term "ispi dixit," which means a dogmatic or unproven statement. He makes reference to a Discord message that we will cover later. Her main argument is that they are married because she was able to get into Canada during the pandemic, but she failed to provide any evidence that she had to be married to gain entry. She also could not profess the specific date they got married. Then he attacks her testimony of them holding out as wife being composed mostly of her own testimony. He goes on to say that all of her witnesses to them holding out have a vested interest in them being married, this being her mom and the housekeeper. Also, there's not one piece of paper she can provide that says they are married. He brings up her only witnesses that testified on her behalf were her mom and the housekeeper, and neither of them heard XQC refer to Adept as his wife. He goes on to give her credit for providing one document that they are listed as husband and wife, a receipt from May 19th, 2020. However, nothing in the receipt makes a reference to marriage, and this is months before the August 2020 date, which she claimed to be married in her original filing. Now he brings up her deposition, which provided even more evidence that they were not married than that they were married. She said she told thousands of her viewers that they were married on her social media streams, but that was after he asked her who outside her lawyers did she tell she was married from October 2022. Now it all makes sense when she went live stating that she was married.
I've been married for 3 years. That's a truthful statement.
This was to bolster her case for marriage. Even if she went on a rampage before filing the RP divorce saying that they were married, I believe XQC would have came out and denied it.
Any claims that that I married anybody are unfounded, stupid, and going nowhere.
Her saying she was married contradicts her sworn filing that she wanted to keep it secret because according to her it was not safe to disclose, not even to people that they did business with. Did you tell anyone you were married or not, Adept? Then Giga Chad goes on the offense stating that there is extensive evidence that proves that they were never married. Outside of entering Canada, she could not produce no paperwork from August 2020 to August 2022 that they were married. According to her deposition, she claimed she didn't check her filing status in 2020 to 2021 because she didn't think it was important.
People, especially the common law marriages, can file their tax returns as single as form, to my knowledge.
That means during her time being RP married, she filed her taxes as single. Only a married person would know that even if you are married and you want to file your taxes separately, you file as married filing single. This designation is different from filing single. He goes on the fact that she kept her marriage status a secret, telling 5 family members, 2 housekeepers, and 1 friend, only telling those people in her affidavit. But later in her deposition, she added new names to the list, but her marriage was mostly hidden from people. Also in her affidavit, she agreed not to disclose their status to their fans. He states that she never publicly referred to herself publicly as his wife. It wasn't until June 2nd, 2023 that she really started saying that she was married. Also, Giga Chad Lawyer was watching the streams I did where she said he was a good boyfriend. Anytime she referred to herself as girlfriend or single, during that period, that's evidence. That's evidence for Mr. Cow to say, hey, why is she saying she's single? Why is she saying she's my girlfriend? Why is she saying she's my roommate? Why I say my roommate? Like stuff like that, that's evidence.
A few moments later.
First piece of evidence where she's shooting herself in the foot. Now remember, all this is gonna be used in court. I already proved to y'all that the video that she said when she got back from Canada was gonna get used. This is gonna get used too. And what does she say? Bias GF take. And we all know GF means girlfriend, okay? Girlfriend. Bias girlfriend take. She tweeted this on November 30th, 2021. They were married. So if you married, why in the hell are you saying bias girlfriend take? Now I know she's like, well, he told me to keep it a secret so our fans wouldn't know. Like, what? No. What girl is gonna keep it a secret that they're freaking married? Adept referred to XQC as her boyfriend in September 2021, May 2022. Let's not leave out her saying that he was the best boyfriend ever in March 2022. She acknowledged in March 2022 that she told XQC she wanted marriage one day, and in May 2020 that she did not consider herself actually married. You would think at this point he has her dead to rights as not being married, but Giga Chad would not stop there. He just kept going. In her deposition, she claimed XQC never wore red ring. She reiterated that the ring was purchased in May 2023, but previously testified that she did not have or own a wedding ring.
I've been trying to tell the truth for a long time. This is my wedding ring.
You see, XQC bought that ring, but it was just to hit, but she was trying to use that ring to show that she was married. XQC's lawyer points out that they never celebrated a wedding anniversary. He goes on to say that XQC testified he was never married nor told anyone he was married, nor was he aware that she was telling people that she was married because it was likely done behind his back. Nor can Adept provide any evidence or instances where XQC referred to her as his wife while speaking to her. He goes back to her mother's testimony, as well as the housekeepers, where either of them never personally heard XQC refer to her as his wife. I imagine that anyone she told that they were married told them not to bring it up to anyone because it's their secret. XQC lawyer then states that there is no case like this in history of Texas where anyone was considered to be married with such little evidence. He laments that there are cases of people having more evidence that they were denied being married. In summary, Adept has no evidence that XQC referred to her as his wife. Adept has no evidence of them having a reputation for being married in the community. The fact that she kept the marriage a secret is more indication that they were never married. He reiterates that Adept cannot produce one third-party witness that they were married, reinforcing that she went above and beyond to keep the marriage such a secret that XQC had no idea he was married either. He concluded that the courts have no other option other than to deem them not married. After the hearing took place that day on July 26, Adept will put up her last attempt. On July 28, 2023, she will file to use XQC's Discord message as evidence that they agreed to get married. This is the message that I brought up earlier. Now you would think it would be something bigger than what you're about to see, but the court docs show it's not. XQC likely presented this Discord law as proof that he never agreed to get married to her, but she is trying to say that it's proof that he did.
Me too.
Common law partner related term, common law spouse. A person who has been living with another person in a conjugal relationship for at least 1 year. The term refers to opposite sex and same-sex relationships. See the legal definition of common law partner. Wait, I am considered an immediate family member to you according to Canada.gov, so that means I can come to you.
Yes, they call it conjoint. It's how most couples identify themselves as.
Looking at the message, anyone who completed high school would know these messages are more about her getting into Canada so he can give her some more backshots than anything else.
But I did progress on to the 9th grade. I wasn't held back. And then I dropped out of school officially in the 11th grade. Like, I think we were 2 weeks into the semester. And I just told my parents, like, look, it's not looking good.
Let's play devil advocate a bit.
Invigorating.
I can see her throwing the Hail Mary to use the log as a way of being married because the French translation of conjoint with the E at the end, as XQC spelled, in the French dictionary refers to a spouse or partner in a marriage or civil union. You know, it is the person with whom someone is legally and officially joined in a committed relationship. However, in America, conjoint without the E at the end simply means together. Also, nothing about this message says let's get married. At best, it can be considered stretching the legitimacy of their relationship for the sake of her gaining entry. But I bet it's what people in Quebec say to mean they are with someone but not married, as roughly 69% of the population speak French. Secondly, Adept's lawyer made a claim that a legal conclusion was needed, and a legal issue can never be the subject of a no evidence motion for summary judgment. Also, Adept's lawyer made a claim that they were not made aware such a motion was going to be filed and did not have proper time to prepare. But the judge, Brandy Hoffer, had no choice but to rule in XQC's favor. Recently, as the case was dismissed in its entirety and Adept being forced to cover all legal costs associated, she filed 2 documents. She fired her first attorney,
You're fired!
which he was doomed from the beginning based on her weak evidence. She hired a law firm that even has a super lawyer who put this motion to appeal. She is throwing 4 darts at a wall to see if she can get any of them to stick for a new trial. First, she says the judge messed up granting the motion for no evidence. This is obligatory but not going to be enough in my opinion. Next, she says the judge messed up granting XQC's GigaChat lawyers objection to her response to enter what I suspect was new testimony. At this point, it's going to take more than someone alleging XQC called her wife one time to get her for a retrial. Third, she attests that the judge messed up and allowed XQC's objection to her deposition, likely to remove grossly erroneous information she tried to put in her deposition to bolster her case for marriage. Look, I'm speculating because that objection I have yet to get a copy of. Finally, she says that the court messed up in dismissing the claims of her amended petition, which I have not seen yet either. In my opinion, I do not see the Court of Appeals appealing the original decision, whether that be at the county level, state level. In no way in hell is it going to make it to the Supreme Court. What you have here is a classic case of a woman wanting to leave her relationship with more than what she deserves. She tried to legally extort him, offering him a settlement to stop the charade she was putting up, but he declined. To be fair, she did get his McLaren out of the situation and a BMW. I do think her sister did end up getting a Tesla. But now she looks even more foolish, and please do not think because she has a super lawyer took up her appeal that she remotely has a case. Appeals generally have less than a 10% chance going in favor of the appealing party in Texas. The appellate court may issue an opinion or decision in little as 30 days or up to a year. The average time is 6 months, but there is no time limit. The appeal does likely buy her more time to pay XQC's legal fees, but I do not think he is worried about such an insignificant amount of money to him. XQC and Adept will go down in history as how bad breakups can be, putting all men on notice that at any moment their girlfriend can go full on Adept. To all the women watching this, never go full on Adept. It can ruin your career.